have to start today's video off on more of a sad note because 2 weeks ago I told the story of me almost drowning, and then last week I told you guys about the relationships, all the relationships that I've ever been in. And I was thinking of, like, right after I made the video of like me almost drowning, I thought like, oh fuck, I forgot to forget it. And then I was thinking of mentioning it in last week's video, but I was like, just go ahead and just forget it. Don't just go ahead and just like go over it. But like it's like kind of like buzzing around my head. So in this video, I guess I'm just gonna start off with this video. The last piece to the puzzle of me almost drowning is that my dad had 3 brothers, and unfortunately at a very young age, one of his brothers was left unattended just for a little bit amount of time, and he fell into a pool, and sadly he drowned. And the thing that kind of like was like tripping me out about that is that his name was Paul. And when I was like going over the video of like how I almost drowned swimming in the lake, like it was kind of like bugging me like a little bit, like of how like his name was Paul, and obviously my parents didn't name me Paul in memory of my dad's brother passing on. My name is Paul because my grandma's name was Paula, and I guess in respect they named me Paul out of respect for my grandmother. But like I don't know, like now that it's like kind of out into the world, out of my mind, out of my brain, now we can focus on Paul's landscaping service. At either 13 or 14 years old, I would get an allowance. We would get an allowance of $6 every single Friday. And I remember like it was like almost like a burning fire in me that one Friday when I got my $6, I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna open up a landscaping service. I'm gonna have a landscaping service. I'm gonna go around and mow lawns. So we would get our allowance on Friday night, and then sometimes, most of the time, we would all load up into my dad's truck, and then Saturday morning at like between like 5 o'clock in the morning or sometimes like 6 o'clock in the morning, we would get up and we would go around the neighborhoods and look at the garage sales that people were having. Lo and behold, we pulled up on a garage sale, and there was this old silver grayish colored lawnmower, and I was just like, that's all that I need, man. All I need is a lawnmower, and I'm gonna get this shit starting. So I go up to the person and I'm just like, how much do you want for the lawnmower? And he was like, 30 bucks. And I'm just like, oh my God, at the time, $30, he could have told me that it was $3,000. You know, I had some negotiating skills, you know, so I went ahead and I worked this man down to $25. He said, you can have it for $25, but I didn't have $25, so I go up to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I need to borrow $20. And of course he said yes. He gave me the 20 bucks, not knowing if this lawnmower even started, but I bought it, I put it in the back of my dad's truck, and we drove right home. Oh, that is really echoey. Once we got home, I probably worked on this lawnmower for the rest of the day. Not because it didn't start anything, it started up perfectly fine. You know, I most likely bummed some gas off of my dad. I put the correct oil in it. I cleaned it. I started it. I mowed our lawn for the very first time. I worded that wrong. I mowed our lawn for the very first time with my mower. Prior to that, my dad obviously had a lawnmower which I would use, And the reason why I wanted to mow lawns, to open a landscaping service, was simply because I loved and I love like mowing lawns, which is very, very strange. And the only problem that I had is that like once I would mow our lawn, I would have to wait like 2 freaking weeks to mow another lawn. I stayed up that whole night printing out like, I think it was either like 100 or 200 Paul's landscaping service posters. And then in the morning time, I went through the entire neighborhood and just scattered these things everywhere. And then after that, I remember my dad went with me because like I was a little bit younger, but I was like, Dad, why do you have to come with me? You don't have to come with me. But I knocked on every single door. I knocked on every single door in my entire neighborhood, and I was just like, hey, I'm Paul. Do you want me to mow your yard for $5? I got so many no's, but I did get a few yeses. And like, keep in mind, like I wasn't doing it for the money. I literally wasn't doing it for the money at all. I just wanted to mow lawns. So that's why when I would get no after no after no after no, I literally wouldn't give up, simply because like I just wanted to mow lawns. After a little bit of success and I got like some money, I went to a Walmart and I bought myself a gas-powered weed whacker. I remember I absolutely hated electric weed whackers because one, obviously I can't bring it to a customer's house and like plug in somewhere, and two, they were so freaking weak. Then a few months went by and my birthday came around, and I had this huge box. I got this huge box from my parents and I was opening it up, and at first I thought it was a gas-powered remote controlled car that I told my parents that I wanted. But those things were like $300, and like I opened it, I was like, fuck yeah! But then I opened it more and it was a gas-powered leaf blower, and I was like, fuck yeah! You know, like I can still make like money with this, and I automatically, like I opened that thing up, I mixed the oil and everything like that. Thankfully, I remember specifically the oil ratio was exactly the same as the weed whacker that I had, so I didn't have to have like 2 different gas cans. I could just like use the same gas. After being so successful with my landscaping service, I remember at one point, I think I had 17 clients, which I literally kept up with every single week. But then came the downfall of Paul's landscaping service, because one afternoon my parents got all of us into the living room and they said, unfortunately, our landlord has sold the house, so we're moving. And of course, in that moment, I was like so excited, like literally, like we never move. Like what? We're gonna have like a new house. We're gonna have like a new neighborhood. Like this is gonna be so cool. But then like I thought about it, and we were moving to Barstow, and Barstow is like the middle of the Mojave Desert. So I already knew, I remember specifically, like I remember like, oh, there goes my landscaping service, because there's gonna be and there wasn't any like front lawns that I could like mow these lawns. Like there are no lawns to mow, there's only dirt, which was actually true. There was only like maybe 4 freaking lawns in like our neighborhood, and obviously those people are upkeeping those lawns by themselves, because if you're gonna spend an extra like few $1,000s per year to have a lawn in the middle of the desert, you're gonna upkeep it yourself. So like I already knew. And honestly, I don't think I even told my clients that I was leaving. I think I literally, like, we had a garage sale ourselves. I remember, oh, it was like ripping the soul out of my body, like selling like my lawnmower, selling my leaf blower, selling my weed eater. I had like at one point I had like a hedger. I bought a gas-powered hedger, and like selling all my landscaping stuff. But I remember I had like $70 I made at at that garage sale, and then I lost the bag that I was keeping all the money in, because I think that one of my brothers stole, but that's whatever. But then we moved out to Barstow, and then I just didn't open another landscaping service. I remember I had 2 clients who were like, I remember one lady, she was like super old. She was like maybe like in her 60s or 70s, but she was like still fit and everything like that. And then like this other lady who had like this big Great Dane dog, and she was like maybe like in her 50s or something. But I remember they would hug me. I remember they would like hug me, and like obviously like I liked it, but like looking back, I'm like, that was kind of weird, man. Like typically you're not supposed to hug your landscaper who is a teenager. And now looking back, I think that was really fucking weird, man. And they would pay me extra too. I was probably slowly like turning into a fucking gigolo. So that's the whole entire story of my landscaping service. It was actually pretty amazing. I remember my mom was so worried about me because like I was out there during like the summertime. I was like out there during the summertime, and she was so worried about my skin. She was like, make sure to like put on sunscreen. Like you shouldn't be out there. What if you have like a heat stroke? What if he's out there by himself and he like passes it on to my goodness? I was like, Mom, chill, I'm gonna be fine. Look at all this money that I'm making. I remember one day I had $300. I literally had to recount like 5 different times over. Like there's no way that I have $300 specifically right from the landscaping service. Like it was so amazing. And you know what I bought? We went to Costco and I bought a car jack. And it's so amazing that my parents let me buy it, a full-size car jack to lift the car. And I remember that night when we brought it home and I set it up and everything, I was like, Dad, let's go lift the truck. Let's go lift the truck. And then he was just like, son, like in the morning, I was just like, are you serious? Like I just spent all this money on this car jack, all this time setting it up, and we can't even go lift the truck right now, right this second? I was fucking hot. I was pissed. But then in the morning, obviously, like we went out there and like I picked up, I was like, I could pick up anything. I was like, fuck yes. We teach them all the spider, we teach them all designer, and now we get all the diamond, but them all the night.